On this week's Road to Peace, we take a look at Pyongyang's water park and the Mansudae Art Studio featured in North Korean news. We also assess the outcome of the high-stakes North Korea-US summit. Lastly, we take you to the PLZ Festival, a musical celebration dedicated to turning the country's demilitarized zone into a symbol of peace.
Hello and welcome to our program. What the world saw in Singapore on June 12th was nothing short of a scene from a science fiction movie. It was the first time in history the leader of North Korea and a sitting US president met face-to-face, 65 years after the Korean War ended with an armistice. Today we're joined by an expert to assess the outcome of the Summit of the Century in Singapore. But before that, we will shed light on North Korean culture and society reflected in the country's broadcasts. Here are some clips from North Korea's KCTV, aired a couple of days ago. Let's take a look.
만수대 창작사 석보판 앞에서 우리와 만난 이것의 책임이를 끄는 우리를 몬주 창작 현장으로 안내했습니다.
우리 사회주의 농촌의 그 풍양가를 형성한 미술 작품들을 비롯해서 김정태 전기관차 연합기업소 노동계급의 그 영적 투쟁 모습을 형성한 그런 그 미술 작품을 비롯해서 우리나라 사회주의 성경들 또한 우리 인민들의 그 정말 그 행복한 모습들을 훌륭하게 지금 미술 작품들에 지금 담고 있습니다. 예, 이렇듯 우리 창작가들이 이런 그 훌륭한 작품들을 창작하게 된 데는 정말 절세위인들의 이런 그 현명한 지도를 떠나서는 생각할 수 없습니다.
이뿐이 아니었습니다. 위대한 장군님께서는 온 나라 인민들의 절절한 심정을 헤아리시며 오보이 수령님의 초상휘장을 최상의 수준에서 잘 형상할 때 대해서와 도안 미술과 수예, 도자기 공예품을 비롯해서 미술의 모든 종류를 발전시키는 데서 나서는 문제들에 대해서도 구체적으로 밝혀주셨습니다. 1978년 6월은 주체 미술의 대화원을 더욱 활짝 피울 수 있게 한 리정표가 마련된 뜻깊은 계기로 됐습니다. 그 후에도 주체 미술 발전을 위해서 끊임없는 심혈과 노고를 바쳐오신 우리 장군님이셨습니다. 민족의 대국상을 당했던 그때 오보이 수령님을 우리 당과 인민의 영원한 수령으로 주체의 태양으로 높이 모시기 위한 사업에서 만수대 창작사가 중요한 역할을 하도록 해주시오.
우리 만수대 창작사 일꾼들과 창작가, 종업원들은 이 위대한 장군님을 영원히 우리로 모시기 위한 책임적인 사업에서 자신들이 지닌 이 사명과 임무가 매우 중요하다는 것을 명심하고 이를 도전하기 바란다는 이런 크나큰 믿음과 신임을 안겨주셨습니다.
그처럼 뜨거운 열과 정을 부어주시며 이끌어주시고서도 만수대 창작사는 충실성이 높고 믿음이 가는 진짜 백이 창작 집단, 모두가 높은 기량을 소유한 실력 있는 집단, 강유력하고 전투력 있는 집단이라는 감 높은 평가를 안겨주신 우리 원수님이셨습니다.
돌아볼수록 만수대 창작사는 모든 조건이 훌륭히 갖추어진 대미술 창작기지다 하는 느낌이 강하게 안겨옵니다.
노동당 시대의 기념비적 창조물로 훌륭히 일떠선 고암 답천 절길 건설에 참가한 전체 전투원 여러분 안녕하십니까?
여러분을 위한 축하 방송 시간입니다. 당이 결심하면 무조건 한다는 절 속의 신념과 의지를 간직하고 결사관절의 날과 날을 이어온 전체 전투원 동지들,
여러분들과 같은 위훈의 창조자, 열렬한 애국자들이 있었기에 아름다운 동해 지구에 날바다를 횡단하는 웅장하고 특색 있는 해상 절길 다리가 우리 조국의 또 하나의 자랑찬 제부로 훌륭히 일떠서게 됐습니다. 보다 훌륭한 내일로 향한 대통로와도 같은 석전만 해상 절길 다리. 정녕 이것은 자립경제의 튼튼한 토대 위에서 끊임없이 비약하는 우리 국가의 막강한 힘을 다시금 세계 앞에 보여준 주체조선의 크나큰 자랑이고 긍지가 아니겠습니까?
예, 그렇습니다.
저렇게 거대한 창조물을 안아오시기 위해 바치신 우리 원수님의 심혈과 노고가 과연 그 얼마였겠는가 하는 겁니다. 정말 우리들이 누려갈 행복한 삶의 도전을 마련해 주시기에 모든 것을 바쳐가시는 우리 원수님께 감사 인사 어마어마히 큰절을 드리고 싶은 것이 저뿐만이 아닌 이 나라 사람들 누구나의 마음입니다.
우리 잠수홍은 결사 안철의 정신을 가지고 정말 자기의 한 몸이 그대로 육탄이 돼서 캄캄한 이러한 물 밑에서 옥년 드물지 않는 이러한 기둥을 창조하게 됐습니다. 우리 잠수홍들의 마음에는 진짜 바다 밑 물 밑에서 묵묵히 일하는 우리들을 원수님께서 지켜보신다. 이러한 간절한 그리움의 마음을 안고 정말 힘든 어려운 고비를 이겨내서 오늘과 같은 창조물을 건설하게 됐습니다.
완공된 고암 답천 철길을 현지에서 요리하시던 그날 경연은 최고領導者 동지께서는 교린 불발의 영적 투쟁으로 어렵고 방대한 공사를 자체의 힘으로 해제낀 건설자들과 과학자, 기술자, 일꾼들의 비훈을 높이 평가하시어 당중앙연의 이름으로 감사를 주신 최상의 영광도 안겨주셨습니다. 자신들의 실천적 투쟁을 통해서 자력갱생과 과학기술의 위력으로 국력 강화의 최전성기를 펼쳤듯이 강성번영할 내일의 눈부신 열매들도 그 힘으로 거두어들여야 한다는 진리를 다시금 천만 국민의 심장마다에 깊이 새겨주었습니다.
조선소년단 창립 72돌 경축행사 대표들이 문수 물놀이장에서 휴식의 한때를 보냈습니다. 문수 물놀이장의 일꾼들과 정호원들의 환영을 받으며 물놀이장 실내홀에 들어선 이들은 먼저 위대한 용도자 김정일 동지의 소년색 석골 입상을 우러러 삼가 인사를 드렸습니다. 아동 수저를 비롯한 크고 작은 수저들에서 물놀이를 하기도 하고 물 미끄럼대들에서 쏜살같이 지쳐내려오면서 기쁨에 겨워 웃고 떠드는 학생 소년들. 실내 물놀이장과 실내 체육관, 야외 물놀이장들에서 돋치는 이들의 행복의 웃음소리는 온 물놀이장에 차고 넘쳤습니다.
For today's discussion, we're joined by Professor Kim Jang-ho, Dean of the Division of Language and Diplomacy at Hankuk University of Foreign Studies. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So we just saw a clip, and from the clips that we just saw, North Korea has a art production system led by the Mansudae Art Studio. Is that something that's unique only to North Korea?
I think it's unique at the moment to North Korea as a propaganda mechanism to sort of indoctrinate its people, induce creativity, but it's not unique in the sense that it's not been used elsewhere, because this is following the Soviet model as well as the Chinese model. If you remember back in the Soviet days, they had some of the greatest musicians, ballerinas, athletes in the world. And in economic terms at that time, they were by no means close to the United States, yet sometimes they outperformed people from the United States. It's a method that I think the communist or socialist states uses. They have been using this in the past. Most of the countries are not using it anymore, but North Korea is still using it. So in that sense, I think it's unique.
Then we also saw from a special broadcast that celebrated the completion of a railway in North Korea. And North Korean leader Kim Jong-un made a personal visit to the site also to encourage the workers there. What did you think of that coverage?
I don't think it's unique to the North Korea. This happens, I think, everywhere in the world. But that clip shows you, I think, the degree of which the infrastructure is weak. For instance, I remember watching the president of France going to a tape cutting ceremony after a bridge was built in southern France called Millau. And it's one of the most beautiful bridges I've ever seen. Presidents, premiers are visiting these places. They think that is a great achievement for their standards. So I think it's something that happens everywhere.
Now, I want to talk about the North Korea-US Kim-Trump summit that the world has been watching. Kim Jong-un has been calling this summit something that can be seen from a science fiction movie. The meeting came after decades of long hostilities between Pyongyang and Washington. Can you tell us maybe what the significance of this summit could have?
I think the significance is more symbolic than anything else. I think this could be the start of an era that we've not foreseen before. We thought the confrontation between North Korea, United States, and us as well would continue well, at least for me, during my lifetime. But we're seeing changes in the mood to that. So in that sense, symbolically, it's very important. But again, it's only the first step. They say the beginning is, half done. In this case, I'm not so sure that's the case because, yes, it is symbolically significant, yet we have a long way to go in order to complete what was stated after the summit meeting.
While the agreement really reaffirms the Panmunjom Declaration, many people see it as a failure to move forward for peace and denuclearization because it doesn't mention anything about the timing. It doesn't mention CVID or CVIG that has been on the table for weeks, for months. Yeah. What do you make of that?
I think it depends on your expectation. Like I said, symbolically, the summit was, choreographed to a point where you couldn't fault anything. But when you go down into the substance of what has been agreed upon, there is very little, no specific dates, no roadmaps, no blueprints, not even a start of a verification process. So I was quite a lot disappointed with that. Having said this, expectations were maybe a little too high because CVID is almost impossible to do. CVIG is even more difficult because how do you irreversibly denuclearize North Korea? Do you take all their scientists to the United States and put them somewhere that they can't contact North Korea? Guaranteeing is even more difficult. Guaranteeing regime survivability, who knows? Most likely event of collapse of North Korean regime is an internal implosion, as opposed to the United States has never really launched an operation to topple the North Korean regime in any case. It's CVID, CVIG, although I had hoped would be at least stated as a goal. It did not get there, but in reality, it's almost the impossible thing to do because it's difficult to be virgin twice.
I actually found President Donald Trump's press conference very interesting. Somewhere in the middle, he mentioned that he's going to suspend the military drills with South Korea while the talks last. But he also kind of mentioned pulling the U.S. troops out of South Korea. What do you think of that as well?
I think that's a simple mistake. But reduction of numbers of soldiers stationed in South Korea, I think he feels it could be reduced if tensions are lowered. I was tuning into BBC and CNN and whatever. The first thing they mentioned after the summit meeting and the press conference was they will not send any more strategic assets into the Korean Peninsula. It undermines our security to a very large extent. The whole point of the meeting and the summit was to get rid of North Korea's strategic assets, not getting rid of our or US's strategic assets.
Then what about the joint military exercise, particularly the Ulji Freedom Guardian exercise scheduled for August? Is it likely to be called off, or is that also something that Trump just kind of slipped out and won't have an effect on?
Well, we have, along with the American allies, more than 20 exercises every year. Most of those do not involve strategic assets. So what he mentioned was not sending strategic assets from Guam. That is B-52s, B-1Bs, F-22 fighters, these which could launch nuclear attack on North Korea within seconds of reaching the skies over Seoul. I think most of the military exercises will continue. I think the cooperation with our American allies will continue. It's just that because the President said so, I think the timing and strategic assets coming to Korea will be less often.
Trump also said the war on the Korean Peninsula is nearing to its end, and he kind of hinted that they could finally declare a formal end to the Korean War. When do you think this will happen, and what kind of parties will be involved in this process?
I don't think it could happen soon. I think a political statement can be made by the two leaders that the Korean War is now officially ended, replacing the ceasefire. But in order to go from there to the peace treaty and full normalization, he requires the 2/3 majority of the Senate in his own country, which might be very difficult for him to do given his political position domestically in the United States. So I would think to complete that process, it would take a certain amount of time. Who will be involved? Certainly, hopefully we're involved. Remember, we're not a signatory of the ceasefire. We are a major player here. So we were hoping, I think our government must get involved here. Obviously, US and North Korea will be involved. China, I don't think they would stand being left out of this.
Right.
So I would say those 4 countries would be coming to the table, if at all, to sign, whether to finish the war, to sign a peace treaty, whatever that paper, that document might be.
Donald Trump said that the denuclearization process on the Korean Peninsula will begin very quickly and very speedily. But do you think that will happen? I mean, realistically, is that even possible?
Well, I think beginning of the process could happen any day. But the process itself is going to last a long time. South Africa's case, verifying and dismantling took 5 years. It's going to be much, much more difficult with North Korea. Given their terrain, given the advancements that they have made, technology that they have, it's a much more complex process than it was the case with South Africa.
Professor Kim, I would also like to ask for your overall assessment of the summit that took place in Singapore and maybe the future prospects as well.
Okay, like I said, symbolically it was very significant that after 65 years of hostility, 3 years of open war between the 2 countries has meeting, the leaders now meeting for the first time, shaking hands, praising each other. That's a huge move forward. Yet there is no blueprint. There was nothing specific in the declaration, no timeline. That was disappointing. My future prospect for denuclearization, I would say, it's at least going to take a very long time, and I think somewhere in the middle it could go wrong. And that could be very dangerous for us because this means that we have depleted all diplomatic options. Only options left are then what? Military
options.
Yeah. If it goes well, as I hope it does, then we're facing a whole new package of problems because North Korea will be expecting immediate economic assistance, investments, whatnot. This is going to cost hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars in the long term. Who has the capacity to pay that amount of money? Trump says he's not going to pay for it. He says South Korea and Japan can pay for it. South Korea, Japan, do they have the political willingness? Japan does not. South Korea does. But do they have the money?
Not really.
No. So then, who's left? China. They're the only country that has the economic power as well as the political willingness to revive North Korea's economy. And economic influence, obviously, in today's world means a degree of control or influence politically. So once this optimistically speaking, the process of denuclearization takes place, we're facing huge challenge again. We're going to be in competition with China to influence North Korea or revive North Korea, so that at the end of the game, that North Korea will be a democratic country, will be a capitalist country, as opposed to a puppet of China. It's going to be a long process. We could stumble in the middle. Even if it goes well, we're still facing problems.
That's definitely something that we'll have to take into consideration. Thank you so much for coming into the studio today and for your amazing insights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
A special concert was held at the demilitarized zone, a legacy of the Korean War. We take you to a musical celebration of peace featuring the United Nations Orchestra.
The demilitarized zone, a decades-old symbol of hostilities on the Korean peninsula, is turning into a land of peace. The National DMZ Botanical Garden is located in the Punch Bowl, the bowl-shaped area in Yanggukgun, Gangwon-do Province, which was one of the notorious battle sites during the Korean War. The Botanical Garden hosted the Peace and Life Zone Festival over the weekend, featuring a lively mix of classical and traditional Korean music. The festival is a brainchild of Kim Jang-ho, a pianist committed to raising awareness about peace and the environment through music.
저는 항상 그 음악이 우리 인간이 살아가는 어떤 가장 내면에 있는 무엇을 건드린다고 생각하기 때문에 자연이 중요하고 또 평화가 참 중요하다고 생각합니다. 그래서 DMZ 대신에 PLZ, Peace and Life Zone 페스티벌을 만들자. 그래서 이 페스티벌 자체가 음악을 위한 목적도 되지만 사실 음악이 표현하는 그 모든 좋은 것, 평화와 자연을 함께 표현할 수 있도록 계획했습니다.
The PLZ Festival kicked off with performances by the M41 Chamber Ensemble at an art museum near the DMZ. The musicians in the ensemble have long married their musical talent and their interest in social causes. They use music to spread the message of peace and life.
이 음악회를 통해서 남과 북이 하나가 될 수 있는 그런 계기가 됐으면 좋겠습니다.
북한과 남한이 이렇게 빨리 통일이 돼서 우리가 같이 예술 활동을 할 수 있다면 얼마나 좋을까. 그게 이제 10년 전이었는데 이렇게 갑자기 남북이 가까워질 수 있다는 것을 봤을 때 이게 정말 저희가 살아있는 동안 우리가 통일이 될 수 있구나 하는 희망을 가졌고.
What was once a key battlefield has now become a renowned center for the study of plants found in the DMZ, one of the most well-preserved ecosystems in the world.
국립주목원 DMZ 자생식물원이 그 꽃으로 하는 가장 아름다운 통일 준비를 하는 곳이라고 생각을 합니다. 이곳에 있는 모든 식물들은 7년 전부터 직접 DMZ와 북쪽 지방에서 씨앗을 다 모아서 수집하고 보존해서 통일이 되면 그 DMZ 지역과 또 북쪽 땅에 아름다운 우리꽃으로 복원할 수 있는 준비를 하는 그런 요람입니다.
The event also featured an outdoor performance by the United Nations Orchestra against a stunning backdrop of natural scenery. Created with the aim of combining symphonic music with humanitarian causes, the orchestra is headed by Antoine Marier.
It's not only a festival, it's not only music. It's about peace, it's about life, it's about humanity, I think. And this is exactly what we do with the UN Orchestra, United Nations Orchestra. We play for peace, for freedom, for fraternity. So we are exactly synchronized with this festival, which is absolutely unique, I guess. The idea is to make this demilitarized zone a peace zone. It's to make it in a different purpose. So who wouldn't be interested to come back?
The musical message of peace and hope deeply resonated with visitors.
요즘에 우리나라 이제 남북 간의 협력이나 아니면 통일을 바라보기 위해서 이제 서로 지금 대화도 시작하고 있잖아요. 그래서 이번에 이런 아이들 그다음에 군인들 연주를 들으면서 저희가 정말로 통일이 빨리 왔으면 좋겠다. 그게 진짜 마음속에 나왔어요.
대한민국이 한시라도 빨리 통일됐으면 하는 마음으로 왔는데 막상 와보니까 생각보다 빨리 통일될 것 같아서 기뻤어요.
그러니까 북한이나 우리나 같은 민족 아닙니까? 같이 빨리 화합돼서 통일이 이루어졌으면 좋겠어요.
Once a poignant reminder of the country's tragic past, the DMZ is transforming into a beacon of peace. Hopefully, the Korean Peninsula will see a peaceful future, just like the soothing harmonies that fill the air across the DMZ.
This is all we have for you today. We'll be back next week with more. Thank you for watching.